Yeah, speaking at a promotional event Tuesday in New York City, Johnson said he wants his former team to lose enough games in order to contend for a high lottery pick in next year's NBA draft. Here's his quote. If you're going to lose, you have to lose because you can't be in the middle of the pack. You either have to be great or you have to be bad to get a good pick. The Lakers are in a good place, in a good space, too. Next summer, if they can sign or trade for a talented guy, I'd rather be all the way bad than be in the middle. Well, after the Lakers win last night, Kobe responded to Magic's comments.
I think the fans are hopefully, well, some of them are probably smart enough to understand his perspective, as an owner, and I certainly am. And, Magic's one of the most competitive players of all time. He doesn't want to lose. Right? From an owner's perspective, his opinion is to get top picks and to be able to use those as leverage to trade and get a competitive team and so on and so. From where I'm sitting, I just look at his point of view.
Laker fans, Laker Nation, they're so sensitive. They did not like what Magic had to say, so he sent the following tweet. Laker Nation, I don't want the team to finish in the middle of the pack and get a 10th or 14th pick because that won't do us any good. He's just trying to explain. He's just trying to help us. Help us. We're putting Magic Johnson on the hook. Joining us still is TJ Houshmandzadeh. Although you're an NFL analyst, you are a Laker fan, so you are allowed to sit in this debate and weigh in. Stephen A., you got a problem with what Magic said about the Lakers?
No, I do not. Magic Johnson, what he said, he's absolutely right to feel the way that he feels. The players, as long as they don't feel that way, that's all that matters. As long as Coach Byron Scott doesn't feel that way, that's all that matters. But the reality is that the Los Angeles Lakers, with their championship pedigree, mediocrity is not something that they'll accept so easily. This is Laker Nation that we're talking about here. And you being average to the point where you're squeezing in as an 8th seed and stuff like that, that's not what the makeup of this team is all about, which is why it's so egregious that Jim Buss assisted in making some of the decisions that were made as it pertained to Phil Jackson, as it pertained to Pau Gasol, as it pertained to an abundance of other people, abundance of other decisions that they should have made that they didn't make. So in light of the decisions that were made, in light of how this organization has been run, in light of what these last couple of years have been like, I can totally and unequivocally understand where Magic Johnson is coming from. But that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be a level of sorrow when it comes to Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers, because think about this. The great, highly competitive, 5-time champion, Hall of Famer, Magic Johnson, knowing Kobe Bryant is on this squad, said what he said. That tells you what he feels about the rest of the team, because you know he doesn't feel that way about Kobe Bryant. And so I think that the fact that he said something that deep, it stings, it hurts, it reeks with misery, the whole bit. And it's so much different because we see what they're doing in Philadelphia. And by the way, Brett Brown has those guys playing hard every night. He is, I've spoken to the coaching community, and they said, Stephen A., could you please speak up for him and let everybody know this guy can coach. He has very little to work with, and the organization is not doing him any kind of service whatsoever. But it stings more from the Lakers because with the Sixers being mediocre, well, you expected that once Allen Iverson was gone. But you never anticipate that the Lakers with Kobe Bryant are going to be mediocre or even worse. So, again, the players and the coaches shouldn't feel that way. But I totally understand why Magic does, and I can't say I blame him.
DJ.
I'm a Laker fan, obviously. It's bad. You got the Lakers, Knicks, and the Celtics. All three of them are bad. But
it's not good for the NBA.
No, but when you have competitive players, which everybody that plays professional sports, they should be, you're trying to win every game. You're trying to win. And I see Magic Johnson's perspective. Let's try to get one of these top draft picks that can really play and help our team. But when you got competitive players on the team, we're not trying to lose games. We're not trying to lose. They probably can't help it at this point, but they're going to get
one quick thing to add. I also look at the college landscape. If there was no one out there, it wouldn't make much sense.
But there's a lot.
This dude, Jahlil Okafor from Duke. Okay, there's a couple of other dudes, but especially him.
Okay, but he is the dude.
That's
He
the
is
one.
the dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Okay.
Let's not ignore the Goliaths on Kentucky's front line, too.
Maybe.
But Okafor is the real deal.
So you got to hope you can get the number
Sure,
one
well,
pick.
but I'm saying you got the first order of business to be in the lottery. If you're not in the lottery, it don't matter.
Right.
Okay, before I speak, because I am not a Laker fan,
You're not?
I'm going to give Miss Champion the chance
Okay.
to address Magic's
Please.
comment.
I totally understand where Magic is coming from. I would have preferred if he didn't say it publicly, because I'm sure people who are smart enough to know he is very wise and he knows what he's saying. Huge basketball IQ. He's not just talking to talk. He knows what he's saying. I just wish he wouldn't have said it publicly. And in context, the question was, how do you feel about the Lakers and their losing record? He was like, well, listen, we're not going to be great. That's the reality. So he responded to that question. It's
Yep.
unfortunate, but I do understand what he's saying. I do. That's just between us. Like,
We're going to lose. Just
keep it
lose all the way.
Yeah.
well, I don't think we should tank, honestly,
Right.
but I'm just saying you just don't mention that. That's not something we discuss as a fan.
I agree with your perspective as a non-Laker fan.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson spoke the painfully sad truth.
Yes.
This is the real deal truth. You'd want to lose every game. But Magic was trying to impress his interviewer with his high basketball IQ. Let's cut to the chase. We should lose every game.
Right.
Well, at this point, at this moment, the Lakers are tied for the 6th spot in the lottery, which is okay, but not great now. It ain't going to get you any Jahlil Okafor unless you hit the lottery, and that's going to be pretty hard to do from the 6th spot. So you need to lose a whole lot more games. Stephen A. and I have gone back and forth about this current Lakers squad as constituted. I think they're a little better than you do. So what? Where is that going to get you? Because I think they're a little better. They can win a few games in the Western Conference, obviously much deeper. You conceded the other day, if they were in the East, they might be able to make the playoffs.
Sure.
And where would that get you if you were the 8th or the 7th seed even in the East? Would it get you around to the play? It would not.
No,
You're going to lose the first round of that playoffs.
Know what makes this all even
Yep.
worse? We made those predictions with most folks assuming Kobe wasn't going to be Kobe. Now, obviously, his
He's
shooting
been
percentage
pretty
needs
good.
to elevate, but
Yeah,
if you
no.
watch him play and how he moves
Yes.
and the things
That's
that he
good.
does, it's amazing that he still has what he has.
Okay.
Isn't he leading the NBA in scoring?
Yeah, but I'm just saying the percentage was below 40%.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's taking a
He's
lot of
taking a
shots.
lot of
He was 11
shots.
I'm just saying,
29
he's
last night.
but he's balling.
Yes.
And all I'm saying to you is that this is 19th year in the league, and he's doing what he's doing, and he's clearly the best player on the team.
Okay. And I'm going to speak one more sad and painful truth.
Okay,
I'm
we'll
gonna
take
say
it.
it again.
We'll take
Say
it.
it again. Kobe Bryant should have, for the sake of the franchise he bleeds for, taken far less money than he took. I'm sorry, he should have. He should have taken the Tim Duncan deal
Who
in
would
San
he have
Antonio
gotten?
and the Dirk deal
Who
in
would they-
Dallas.
who would they
a
have gotten?
whole bunch of Patty Mills. That's what you get when you take the Tim Duncan deal.
Yeah, but
all
you
of a
gotta
sudden
trust
you go
Bus.
12
You got-
deep. Okay, I get
gotta
it.
trust Bus
but
to
you,
pick the
you
right
trust
dude to coach
Kupchak.
him.
You do.
I do trust Kupchak, but Kupchak is at the disposal of Jim Buss,
Okay,
who doesn't
I
want to
get
listen
that.
because he gets emotional.
Okay, fine. But when Kobe takes that big a chunk of that cap, it limits your depth. It limits the quality of your depth. If you're talking about building a team that can actually contend, just look at the Spurs, even without Thiago and without Patty right now, without Tony Parker. They lost at Utah last
I
night.
heard about this
They're
dude,
pathetic.
Robert Sacre.
What's
The
that?
Lakers, the big boy Robert
Oh,
Sacre for the Lakers.
Don't
So
even
what?
do-
I'm just saying, I never heard of him. You know what I mean?
Man,
I
these
mean, I
guys,
watch
these
what
guys
I
that
watch,
play with the Spurs, they just play great for, like Gary Neal. He was playing really well for the
But time
Spurs.
out,
What has he
time
done
out.
since he left the Spurs?
I understand that, but there's something to be said about having Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker in the
Wait,
lineup.
time out, Skip. Make your point. So you going about you were done with far less money. He should have took far less money.
Throwing out
And
there.
look at the Dallas Mavericks right now. They're
Okay.
positioned to make a run at the Western Conference Championship because Dirk took way less than he deserves right now because he's still pretty close to being a max kind of player.
Yes.
And he took half of that. Those guys are taking like $9 or $10 million a year. Kobe took his, well, I don't know what it was,
23 this year, 25 next
That's
year.
a lot of money, man. 23 and 25. And I realize they still could have gotten maybe one other max, maybe Carmelo they could have had. But then you don't have any pieces around them. And the Spurs and the Mavericks have nothing but pieces down their bench. Their second unit can be almost as effective as their first unit.
Yeah, they're deep.
That's how you win the West.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
how you do it.
Your thought on the money.
Kawhi Leonard is not taking a discount.
Well, he's not happy about it at this moment.
If they can pay you this amount of money, that means they're making a lot of money. You never take a discount because you never know. You got to do it for your family, your kids' family, because you set up your whole generation comfortably.
Okay, that's fine, but it's not about the ring anymore. It's not about.
We have
competing.
to be okay with that if that's what it is.
But as a competitor, you feel like you're still going to get it done. You don't look at it and say, oh, I'm taking all this money, we're not going to win. You feel like, they say we're going to suck, but watch this.
Okay, watch.
That's how you feel.
That's what Kobe feels.
That's how you feel.
They're 6 and 16. Okay, watch what?
Y'all have to remember that those guys took less after they won. You're asking Kobe to take less, not with Phil Jackson as his coach and Pau Gasol and others as his teammates. You're asking Kobe to take less with Mike D'Antoni, and then after that, not a coach at all, and then after that, Jim Buss. You got to take that into consideration.
So is Kobe conceding then that he doesn't really have a chance with those guys running the organization?
He doesn't concede anything. That's part of the problem I have with him. He won't concede anything.
We're going to wrap this up, but I do want to mention, I don't think that a lot of people, you do, Stephen A., and we do here on this show, but a lot of people in the league aren't giving Kobe a lot of respect for what he's been able to do as he's coming back and playing with all these injuries. He's playing well.
They're hating.
This is probably true. He's 31 points away from passing Michael Jordan. When they play the Spurs on Friday, does he get the 31? We discussed it.
Not against the Spurs.
I'm saying in San Antonio, no.
And Kawhi Leonard playing defense.